Colonial Fair has been going on at Historic Kenmore for 3 years now. We're really excited to be bringing it back. There's some old faces and some new faces. When we originally thought of this idea, we thought we wanted to bring the historical element and then kind of make it into this family-friendly, community-focused event. So that's what we've done here. We've kind of brought those two elements together and made this really, really fun event at Historic Kenmore that embraces the house, the grounds, and then the community element that we are kind of surrounded by here in the middle of the city of Fredericksburg. So the kind of historical element that we focus on is the fairs that used to happen in colonial America. So there were lots of different fairs that would go on in different kind of urban centers in Virginia. In 1738, the Virginia legislature actually passed a kind of law that would put in place two different fairs in the city of Fredericksburg, or the town of Fredericksburg at the time, throughout the year. So there was the June fair that would happen right at the beginning of summer, and then there was another fair that would go on another time of year. And these fairs were a really big part of Fredericksburg society. People would come in, mostly people would be selling livestock and produce, their crops from the year, and then other handmade goods, things like soap that you wouldn't necessarily be making at home, but you might want to buy. And then there would be other things going on too. So the big things were court cases would be in sessions. That would bring a lot of people into the town, as well as horse racing. When these things got bigger, they would bring in theater groups. Theater groups would kind of come in and do performances at the local theaters. And then there was other things like entertainers. So we kind of bring that into our colonial fair here at Historic Kenmore. We have the magic act, a conjurer, if you will. There were things like puppet shows, like Punch and Judy puppet shows, which we also will have here at Kenmore. And there's just a lot of community going on in this historical event. And so that's what we wanted to bring to Kenmore. So traditionally, these would be held in town squares, like we have here in Fredericksburg at Market Square, but we brought it to the grounds of Kenmore to kind of bring this community focus. We have this incredible historic building in the middle of the city in this residential area. So we bring the community focus here at this time of year to Colonial Fair. So it's a really family-friendly event. So we have, like I said, the Punch and Judy puppet show. We have the 18th century conjurer, Mr. Peter Gardner, and then we have some other things going on too. Like I said, we have people bringing in their trades. So we have actually an 18th century perfume maker. She is new. She is from Perrin Cottage Perfumery down in Williamsburg, and she's going to be doing some demonstrations of how scents were made in the 18th century, and you'll also be able to buy some of her scents. She has recreated the scents that a lot of historical figures would have worn, including George Washington, so you'll get to smell some of those scents that she makes. And then we also have an 18th century artist who will be teaching you how to do art like in the 18th century. You'll get to use some of her 18th century tools and all of that fun stuff. So there's lots of interactive elements. There's lots of performance elements. Colonial Fair is a really, really fun time. We really encourage families to come, people that are in the neighborhood, come on in. We want to make Kenmore more accessible to not only people that love history, but also families who want to come and just have a really good time. Tickets are available online. They are $15 for adults, $7 for students, and free for anybody under the age of 6. So you can get them online, or you could get them the day of the event. You can just walk up and purchase your tickets then, and you can enjoy the fair. So there's lots of things going on. Come see the house. We're doing walk-through house tours throughout the day. It's a little bit of a snippet of our normal house tours. It's shorter. You can still ask questions though and see the rooms that you would see on a normal tour. So it's good if you have younger children children who might not be able to sit through an hour-long tour, but would still want to see the house. And we also have a new exhibit down here in the Crown and Shield building in the Bissell Gallery that talks a lot about Kenmore's restoration, the history of the building and the grounds, so you can come and see that as well. And just come on down and have a really good time. It's this Saturday, April 6th, 2024. We are open from 10 to 4 for the Colonial Fair.
The Punch and Judy show, I'd never seen it. It was hilarious, and the kids
Yes.
last year loved it.
Yes, the Punch and Judy show, it's Professor Horn's Punch and Judy show. He's been doing it for years. He's from Maryland. The Professor Horn character has been around for about 100 years now. The Punch and Judy shows have been going on since colonial times, and a lot of people find it really nostalgic. So a lot of older people saw it when they were children, and so it's a really fun tradition to call back to not only colonial times, but also just a few years ago when you might have seen a Punch and Judy show as a kid. It's really funny, slapstick comedy, lots of really just silly jokes, but it's a really, really family-friendly, kid-centric show that I think everybody kind of enjoys.
And the perfume part really adds a great, I mean, that really, when you talk about colonial life,
Yes.
brings that back.
Right. So I like to say that this is bringing the sounds, the sights, and the smells of the colonial period to Kenmore. And that adds another sensory aspect. So you're seeing the sights, hearing the sounds, and now you get to smell some of the scents that the historic figures that were at Kenmore in the 18th century might have been smelling like. So if you're into perfumes, if you like to smell different things, this is a really cool thing, and I'm so glad that we have her this year. She's never been here before, so I'm really, really excited to work with her and have her at the fair this year.
So 10 to 4 on Saturday.
Yes, 10 to 4. Tickets can be bought online, kenmore.org/events, or you can just purchase them at the gate on Saturday when you arrive.